Could you introduce yourself?
My name is Jason O'Connor, and I'm the Executive Director of the New Milford Youth Agency.
Hi, I'm Maria Leo, and I am the Youth Advocate and Program Coordinator here at the Youth Agency.
I'm Sara Wendrow. I'm the social worker here at the Youth Agency.
So I'm Brian. I'm the Prevention Director here at the Youth Agency. I grew up here in New Milford. My family all lives here. I have 4 kids who go to New Milford schools, and I've kind of been here all my life.
Hi, I'm Michele Lukse.
My name is Taylor McCafferty. I am the new Intervention Program Manager and the JRB Case Manager here at the Youth Agency.
Hi, I'm Lois Chludzinski, and I'm the Office Coordinator at the New Milford Youth Agency.
So what does that mean exactly?
Well, it means that you're actually support staff, administrative duties, and also part of my job is to handle the MACs, rentals of the MACs, which is that rental venue we have in New Milford.
Mm-hmm. How did you get introduced to the youth agency in general?
How did I get introduced? It's a long story. Back in 2008, so I guess I'm actually entering my 17th year here. In 2008, summer of 2008, I had been recently unemployed. And I went to a Christmas party for a former mayor of ours, Pat Murphy. And I was at her office at the Christmas party, and she knew I had just lost my job and kiddingly said, "Anybody need to hire somebody?" And she pointed to me, and I didn't even think any more of it until I got a phone call to come into the youth agency for an interview. Mm-hmm. And that's how it all started.
Yeah. How has it been 17 years?
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I mean, I love the staff here and the people that you meet. We went through COVID, having the children here for 2 months. It's been a wonderful experience.
Yeah. What do you do here at the youth agency?
So I'm the accounts payable clerk, and I've been here for over 27 years.
Oh, wow.
I track the money that comes through here.
How'd you start off as an accounts payable?
So I started out working for the child care program, and then I did that for a little while. I left, and then I came back, did more child care, and then it evolved into they needed office work. So that was part-time as well, and then it evolved into the accounts payable position.
Okay, and how has that child care start impacted your career?
I enjoyed working with the kids because you make a difference when you're dealing with the kids, and just see how they grow. We make an impact on them. So I knew that I wanted to work for the agency, but it takes a lot to work with kids. So as I got older, an office position opened up, so I was still a part of seeing the kids and being a part of the agency, but I had an office job, so I could see the kids when I wanted, but still, had my other job working with numbers.
So what exactly is an accounts payable clerk?
So what I do is I track the money that comes through the agency. I make sure all our bills are paid. I make sure all our staff is paid, and I make sure that we stay on budget so that at the end of the year we're not under or over.
So what kind of qualities would you say you need to be in your position?
So you have to know math, be mathematically inclined, and you need to be disciplined, organized. Most of my stuff I do on my own. I don't have somebody watching over me because it's just pretty much, you know what needs to be done. Mm-hmm. It's pretty much black and white.
Okay.
So when you're looking for a job, a lot of people don't enjoy waking up every day, you know, going to their job. You have to find something that you enjoy, or that's, you know, in the end making a difference. That's what's going to make you happy. You know, if you're just going to a job and like, oh God, I'm getting my paycheck at the end of the week, you know, okay, well, you're paying your bills, but, you know, you're really not happy doing what you do. So I think you have to find that fine balance of what you like to do so that you are waking up every morning doing a job that you like and, you know, and making a difference.
Right. Well, thank you so much. This was
Thank you,
fun.
Finlay.
So how'd you get involved, like, in the youth agency as the prevention director?
Yeah, so I started as a summer camp counselor in 1998. Had no interest in working with kids at all. Had a girl I wanted to date who worked there, so that's why I took the job. And then found out pretty quickly that I really liked working with kids, and I've kind of stayed ever since.
Okay. And, like, how did that, like, start affect your, like, how you see your job?
Yeah, you know, I tell everybody I'm pretty lucky that, you know, I found something pretty early on that I really like to do. I enjoy coming to work, and so I've been able to kind of find a way to make that a career and a job, still doing something that I really love. So that's been great.
What is a prevention director?
Yep, so the prevention director's job is to create programs that will engage kids, put kids around good role models, and keep them out of trouble. So most of our programs are focused on giving them positive things to do that will entertain them, keep them out of trouble, put them on the right path, and then hopefully put good people around them that they can look to.
Okay. And, like, what kind of programs do you have?
So we offer a lot. So we actually, this is the first year we're doing a pre-K program, preschool program. And so that's the first time we've done anything for non-school age kids, which is great. We have the before and after school program. We have summer camp. We have some volunteer opportunities for high school kids and middle school kids. We have job opportunities for high school kids. I do some suicide prevention, some substance abuse prevention work. So we have a lot of programs like that. We've done movies in the past for parents to give them information on safe internet use and things like that. We have an All Pro Dads program. So we try to have a program for kind of anybody who could use it.
Do you have, like, any specific examples of any, like, favorite programs that you have done in the
Yeah, so summer camp's always my favorite. So, I mean, I grew up during summer camp, and, like, that's kind of how I started. And so it's a really cool program because, you know, the kids, we take trips and do things like that. And you get to spend so much time with the kids that you really build a good bond with them, and you get to see them doing things that they haven't ever done before. And so nothing's better than when they don't want to go home from summer camp. And most of my staff that works for me up at the summer camp site, a lot of them have came through summer camp, and they liked it so much that now they come back to work. So summer camp's definitely my favorite.
So would you say that's, like, the most rewarding part of your job?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a cool job because you know, you get to see the impact that you make on other people right away, and then also have a lasting impact. So, you know, it's very rewarding to be able to do something where you get to help other people, and hopefully help them grow into good young people, and then hopefully good adults after that. So,
Do you have any, like, piece of advice you'd like to share, or any questions you have for us?
No, so I mean, I guess my piece of advice would be, and this is just something I've always kind of taken, was that, you know, to just be kind. You know, I think if you can attack whatever you're doing or focus whatever you're doing from a place of kindness and helping, you know, people usually pick up on that, and that I find it tends to make things a lot easier. It's made my life easier, made my job better. So that would be my piece of advice.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course, anytime.
What exactly is a program coordinator?
So as a program coordinator, I get to assess the needs of the kids in our community, the families, as well as what our community as a whole needs. And then with that information, I'm able to develop programs and different events to meet those needs.
Okay. And, like, what kind of programs do you have to offer right now?
So some of the things that the Youth Advocate Program Coordinator are responsible for is leadership opportunities and volunteer opportunities. So we do things like the Student Advisory Board, which gets involved with Town Council and Board of Directors. We volunteer in the community, so if there's an event going on the green, we go down there. We volunteer at the food bank. Some of the programs that we do help both volunteers and the youth, such as our Buddy Up mentoring program that we do, and we do Girls Who Code. So teen volunteers get to help the younger kids in our community.
Okay.
I've been developing programs now for neurodivergent children in town and their families. The biggest one is Safe Place. So it's kind of like a social experience where parents and kids can kind of meet their people. And then we do college career stuff. So I've been fortunate enough to get some presenters to come in to help teens that are graduating to figure out what they want to do after high school.
That seems like a lot of stuff.
It is a lot.
So,
It's a lot.
so like, since it is so much, like, what makes it rewarding to you?
The rewards of it is seeing the impact in real time. Every day you can kind of see how these programs are helping both the kids and the family just by observing them in practice. So it's really cool to see that. It's really impacted me because I love it so much. So every day I feel like I'm doing something good for our community and for our youth. So I feel really fortunate to be part of the youth agency, and I plan to be here forever. So yeah, it's been a great job.
Okay.
So.
Do you have any advice you'd like to share with anyone?
I think some of the advice I would share, and it's for myself as well, is to kind of get out of your comfort zone and get involved with things you didn't think you would ever want to be involved in, because I see, just as an example, some of the volunteers learning so much just by making that phone call saying, hey, can I get some volunteer hours? And all of a sudden they find something they're really passionate about. So yeah, I would encourage just getting out of your comfort zone and trying new things.
Cool. Thank you so much. This was great.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
How has working at the youth agency impacted you?
Working here has impacted me in a great way. It's impacted me because in the past I never really felt part of a community, and being here at the youth agency, I get to be part of this like amazing community of New Milford. So I get to work with the youth, but I also get to work with families, and I also get to like kind of immerse myself out in the community and in the field and get to know people. And you know, now I know people when I just walk around, you know, outside.
Yeah, yeah. Great, well thanks for talking to me today. This is great.
Awesome, thank you.
First and foremost, that means that I'm in charge of stepping in when something needs to be done, right? So when we're having these youth come in, we're having kids here that they're starting to go down a wrong path, or they're starting to fall into these negative choices, that's when we can step in and say, hold on, maybe we can do something different here.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is so amazing about a program like this.
Yeah. Is that what made you want to become one in the first place?
Yeah, so I'm actually a licensed alcohol and drug counselor, and previously I worked with adults in the Waterbury Superior Court. It was a similar kind of thing, but I noticed that we were intervening a little bit too late at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to be in a position where I can step in a little bit sooner, I can do something that's gonna make probably a bigger difference, means all the world to me.
Yeah, yeah. How has this job sort of changed your opinion or viewpoint about these teens that are struggling?
People don't give kids enough credit. I'm gonna be so for real with that. Like, even when it comes to adults that are still in that young adult stage, they look back on their own childhood and they think like, wow, I was so young and dumb. Like, I can't imagine giving any sort of leadership or any sort of like authority to someone when I was that age. But when you're given the right tools, the right skills, and the right support, age doesn't matter. And you can accomplish so much. That's my opinion. I would keep it at that. But I really think that people don't have that understanding. And I'm really glad to see that for myself.
Yeah. Is there sort of like a piece of advice you want to share about maybe someone who wants to do this?
I would say you need to follow your heart with it. The biggest thing is that if you are not telling other people around you what you have going on within yourself and within your own mind, no one in this world is a mind reader. Life would be so much easier if we were. But if you are not speaking up no one is understanding what's happening within you.
Mm-hmm.
And once somebody knows what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you want, they can point you in the right direction. You can be connected with somebody who can help you to do that thing.
Yeah.
But otherwise it's going to sit there just in the void with no one doing anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my biggest piece of advice, is to always speak your mind and always talk to people about what you have going on.
Thank you so much for talking with us today.
Of course.
How'd you get your start being an executive director?
So I think we'd have to go back if we're going to look at being the director of the youth agency. I started at the youth agency in 2006, and very similar to how I think you got involved as a high school student. So in 2006, I was a junior. It was my first full-time job, but I worked at Sullivan Farm, and I was part of the farm crew up there. That's a vegetable farm. We were harvesting different crops, doing a lot of haying, but I worked for the next couple of years until I graduated in 2008. Went to college. I went to Central Connecticut State University, was there until 2012, but every summer, winter, I'd come back and help out the farm. And so when I graduated, I became intermittently actually earlier on, I was the supervisor of the farm. And then when I came back, I still kept working at the farm and at the youth agency going into my younger 20s, and more kind of smaller supervisory roles of high school and college students. And that was while I was pursuing becoming a police officer. I was also doing some construction and kind of different side jobs, but I became the youth advocate in 2015, and that's primarily programming for adolescents, high school age students, volunteer work, looking at macro and advocacy work. And I did that for about 5 years, becoming the director in about 2019-ish to 2020, and then COVID hit. So that's kind of how I got to the director's role in the sphere of the youth agency and my involvement.
Just in general, how do you think that whole experience kind of affected how you view your job now?
I think it's been extremely beneficial. One, being a student and going through all the school systems, being a resident, going through my whole lifelong childhood development in town. I've been able to kind of see the lens of a youth through the continuum of life so far. So I think that's very beneficial being the director now, as I can kind of have that firsthand experience being a youth going through the town in Milford. Yes, everyone's story is going to be different. Everyone's going to go through different pathways in life. But I think that's been a huge asset for me, is understanding what it's been like to be a youth. And then even building on, I've been involved with the agency since 2005. So coming into that director's role, I already knew staff. I knew the operations of the town. I knew the school system. I knew how the hierarchy of department heads to mayor to town council, I had a lot of this knowledge coming in that maybe someone coming in from the nonprofit or for-profit world or any other kind of non-municipal setting would know. So I think growing up in town and then working for the youth agency in longevity actually helped me out becoming the director, because I can kind of hit the ball running without a lot of the learning the basics kind of deal.
And for the people who do set the budget, the taxpayers, what do you wish they knew more about your position and the work that you do here at the youth agency?
I think many people know the youth agency for either one short instance or one program. Many of our youth and families understand they go to youth agency, and people are like, what do you mean you go to youth agency? Well, that's our largest program. It's our before and after school care. And so we're in the 3 elementary schools, the intermediate school, and then after school only at the middle school. That could be the child's only interaction with the youth agency. They may not know of the counseling service here, the intervention services, advocacy work and volunteer opportunities, parenting, all these other programs that we're doing. I think that is the biggest thing that I wish maybe some other entities or just the normal individual living in the town of Milford, so they, not so much so, almost shame on them, but so they could take advantage of all that we're doing. employment services for teens in the town of New Milford, you know, collegiate and life after high school planning. There's a lot of what we do, and going back to being a youth service bureau, we're not here to make money. So they're either at cost or no cost. With us being subsidized by the town of New Milford, we're not in the business of making money. We're just here to be an asset and a service to the town of New Milford. So that's why it's almost called youth services. I think that would be the biggest thing I would hope, and I'm looking to do, is really get out to the town of New Milford of what we do, in that you don't have to be referred to be part of the youth agency, or you don't have to be in our before and after school care to be part of the youth agency. There's so many other opportunities here. You know, even just look at yourself getting involved with the video production. How many people know that the youth agency runs a youth and adolescent video production?
I mean, I didn't until I
You
saw
didn't.
the flyer. Yeah.
But that can go into prevention-based podcasting, you know, interviews like this, PSAs, you know, showcasing and highlighting what makes New Milford special. And I think the biggest thing is that it helps give youth a voice in town. And so the more that people can understand what the youth agency is, the better then we can showcase youth voice and get them involved, especially within the town operations. Going back to kind of the core tenets of what the director should be doing is to take some of the stress and the angst off of staff. I really enjoy doing that. I really enjoy helping my staff troubleshoot, find opportunities of growth, going through instances of trial, but I really enjoy working with staff so then they can go program. And to see them come back from an event that maybe stressed them out, or they're like, I don't know what I'm doing, and then it turns out to be such a success, and you can see it. I love that, I really do, and because then that benefits the youth. If we can empower our staff here so they have the skills, they have the tools to succeed, it's only gonna help our youth and families here. So I think that's just one thing, or one great thing I really love doing, is that I can support individuals here, help them grow, and then the tail ends, it just helps the community. In the community now that I live in too, again. So I obviously want the youth agency to succeed too, you know, and that's, I think at the end of the day, it's like when I'm like, you know, yes, you know, we're budgeted by the town of New Milford and we get some grants from the state of Connecticut, but you know, we're going back because I don't want to show to the taxpayers in New Milford that, hey, we made all this revenue. Well, what would be the point of that? The real point is I helped this amount of families, or I helped this staff connect with these two families that really needed the services, got them into the umbrella of the New Milford Youth Agency, and then we got them involved in other parent, sister, brother organizations, you know, whether it's New Milford Social Services or any other local assistance. You know, it's getting back to just helping people. And so that's I think, somewhat answered your question. So I think that's what I got.
Do you have any like piece of advice you'd want to give to like the youth that you help? Just like any tips for success?
Yeah, I mean, I can share just a personal story on the tenet of like, just keep going, just keep moving forward, because what you think you want may only be in that moment. It may not actually be where you're actually going. So what I'm trying to say is that, you know, life's a journey. You may be confused, you may be upset with how it's working out, but things do end up working out. And the reason I say that is going back to my undergrad, why I wanted to become a police officer. When I was in New Milford High School, as you went through, I saw my SRO, school resource officer, and I saw the immense relationship that he had with us students. And this was Officer Woods. And so I got to see his relationship with us And though I wasn't close to him, he probably didn't even know who I was. I just saw him showing up to all of our events, him taking the time to work with us. And I said, I want to be that guy. I want to be that guy. And for me, I thought in order to be that person for youth was I needed to become a police officer. And then I needed to become an SRO and get into schools. And I'm glad that never happened. I'm glad I failed. Because if I didn't fail, I wouldn't have become the youth advocate here. And if I didn't fail, I wouldn't have gone back for my master's in social work. And if that never happened, then I wouldn't be the director of the New Milford Youth Agency. And so while it was hard not getting that career path I wanted, and I wanted it, I am so happy and so thankful that I did fail. And through failing, we can learn more about ourselves and the resiliency. And then again, learning who you are and what you are. And I was actually able to see Officer Woods, I think 4 or 5 years ago, and I told him that story. And so that was kind of a very like, I don't know what the word is, Finlay, like circling
Full
back.
circle?
Yeah, full circle, yeah. Where I got to go back and tell this individual that didn't really know me, but the impact he made. And I think that might be some other advice is that here at the youth agency, I tell it to whether you're a 16-year-old student working for us or our full-time salaried staff, the kids are watching us and they're looking up to us. And you never know what they're going through. So if we can show up being the best versions of ourselves, that's the best thing we can do. So I guess, again, I know I talk a lot, so it would be to don't be afraid to fail. Keep that resiliency. You never know where life is going to end up. And also, show it for the youth. Be the best version of yourself because you just don't know what they need in the moment. And compassion and empathy goes a very long way. Yeah, so I would again just echo like being open-minded. Another thing here with the youth agency is we work with everyone. And so having that equitable, that inclusive, safe environment, I think that's exceedingly important because again, I don't know your life story, you don't know mine. So if we can ensure that everyone who comes through the youth agency, as soon as they come in here, it doesn't matter what's going outside out those windows. They're here, they're safe, and they're gonna do their best and we're gonna do their best, or we're gonna do our best.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Finlay. It's been amazing. You guys are the best video program ever. And I'm not just saying that as the director. But thank you.
Thank you.